Hey y'all, I was spiritually guided to share my perspective that I've been had even before I started this channel, which is that Earth is hell, or at least purgatory. It's definitely slave planet. So, yeah.
Ain't no funeral home. It ain't the Terradome neither. Welcome to hell.
So that clip that I showed, it pretty much was from a movie. That part of that movie always just felt like a revelation. I'm not saying there's no type of proof or anything from that, but yeah. I'm going to start with a disclaimer. So this is not a light bulb moment. It's not something I just impulsively felt like saying. It's something I felt before I started the channel. I still was spiritually guided to start this channel as a way to help myself and other people cope with the fact that this is hell, and to help us do the spiritual work in order to ascend after this. Because even though I'm saying this is hell, or at least purgatory, it's not it. That's why we all die. Like this, I don't understand how some people could feel like this is it, or like we all die for a reason. So it's a lot of tests and things that happen here, and that's a deciding factor on what happens next. So that's why I still choose to be the best version of myself. And plus, I just realized that I have a very rare thing about me where loyalty is very important, and being a good person, whether people are watching or not watching, is a big thing for me. So, like standing for something, not just blowing wherever the wind blows, and doing things whether people support it or not. Even though I'm the type of person, I'll do a lot of things and people won't support it, but they will follow it. They will copy it, even like word for word it. But yeah, I digress. I want to first talk about what purgatory is. It says it's a place or state of suffering inhabited by the souls of sinners who are expiating their sins before going to heaven. Okay. It sounds like a trial by fire or purification through fire. Yeah, and then according to Catholic religion, or the Catholic Church, those who die in God's grace and friendship, imperfectly purified, although they are assured of their eternal salvation, undergo a purification after death, so as to achieve the holiness necessary to enter the joy of God. So, I feel like that's the 1/3 here, because of this next thing I'm going to point out. Yeah, it says, I will bring the 1/3 through the fire. I will refine them as silver is refined, and I will test them as gold is tested. So, yeah, I feel like that's the 1/3 that's here going through the trial by fire. And I feel like that 1/3, those are the chosen ones that are here, whether you know you're a chosen one or not. I understand it's something that people like, I mean, because it does sound good, so a lot of people might just hop onto it as like a trend, but it's not easy for chosen ones. Honestly, Jesus was a chosen one. He was the only chosen one in that time, the only child of God that was here. But I'm not saying that I'm Jesus. I'm just saying pretty much what he said. Everything he did, you too shall do, and even greater things. That includes me, you, people in general. So, yeah. I feel like the other 2/3 are devils. And I get that from what I read about when Jesus visited hell. Where did I put that? Okay, if I could find it, I'll put it in here. But it pretty much talks about Jesus went to hell to prove his as a king, to prove his triumphance, like he's triumphant, and to prove his victory over sin and death to the saints and the devils that died before him. So if he went to hell to prove something to the saints and the devils who died before him, but is that not saying that there are saints also in hell? And him coming to earth, was that him descending to hell in order to prove his victory over sin because he was sinless, and his victory over death because he died and rose from the dead here? That's just how I automatically see things. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the scriptures, like, they make me feel like earth is hell. I'm going to try to keep it to 3 or 4. The first one is, whosoever should love the world is an enemy of God. Okay, so it's saying people who really see no problem with what's going on here, people who really see no problems with, they rather do stuff like pick on who has this, who has that, what your shoes look like, what your body looks like, how many followers you have on social media, what you say, what your opinion, what your thoughts, as opposed to the fact that there's countless amount of pedophiles in any given neighborhood. It's like you rather cancel Kanye than cancel pedophiles, or cancel, I'm saying that as far as anybody, cancel black fathers not being in the home, cancel, shit that matters, shit that you should be canceling. And people don't see no error in the fact that everybody's focused on the wrong shit. Well, most people focus on the wrong shit. Everything's really ass backwards. So, yeah. The next one is the fact that God gave Satan dominion over the earth. I just don't feel like that. To me is just saying earth is hell. Because if it were, all God's children, we all are God's children, and God put us on a planet, why would he tell us to be in it and not of it? That's another quote. Why would he tell us to be in the world but not of the world? Why would he tell us if you love this world then you're an enemy of his? Why would he say Satan has dominion over the earth? Because it's mostly his people here. It's 2/3. The 2/3 is not chosen ones. They're Satan's seeds. They're Satan's children. Like, that's why, even going back to Jesus, okay, I'm going to try not to get lost. I'm going to keep this right here. Going back to Jesus and how this is slave planning. I talked about this a little bit on Jesus was a target individual. How when Jesus pretty much is the example. That's why I look at the story. It's kind of like allegory. Because anybody who comes here with a purpose, the purpose to like be a light worker, or to teach, or to heal, or to do good things with their God-given power, selfless things, like things that help other people more than it helps them. Because it's a slave planet, it's like automatically, like they're super soldiers or something. Automatic automatic house slaves. I feel like you can call them agents or house slaves, or like the modern day Judases for every like modern day light worker. Just people who find their way around you to try to keep you in this box. Like, so if you get out of line, you get out of your slave mentality, you're not going to follow a crowd. You're going to use your powers for good. You're going to do things differently. You're not going to be a follower. You're going to have a mind of your own. You're going to stand for something. There's always like a Jesus / house slave / agent / super snitch / like somebody who's going to act like they're playing for your team or on your side. But really, they'll sell you out in a heartbeat. They do all types of stuff to get you back in line, to whip you back into slave mentality. And if you don't want to go back into slave mentality, or you were never able to be a slave, they're going to gang up on you. And I know this for a fact. It's been 4 against 1, 5 against 1, so many against 1. And I see it happen to other people too, just ganging up on you, trying to whip you back into slavery just because, oh, if I'm going to be a slave, bitch, you're going to be a slave too. Type mentality that a lot of people have. I haven't met too many people who don't have it, but yeah. For people who know, you know, this is only for certain people. Another quote from the Bible is, you can't remove the scales from their eyes, which it could be another video. I didn't say it yet, but this earth is hell. This is part 1. I can think of at least 20 more topics, 20 more things I can align this with, because like I said, it's not nothing new for me. And I'm still able to laugh and play and dance every day and enjoy life, because I already can see the whole bigger picture. I already know this ends in death. Who the fuck would be scared of dying? Unless you just scared to face reality that we're all gonna die anyway. But I'm also not a martyr, so there's a lot of stuff I know that I'm not gonna even say on here. But this next one, I don't know why I screenshotted this, but it says, if you have been raised with Christ, seek the things that are above, where Christ is, seated at the right hand of God. Set your minds on things that are above, not on things that are on earth. Oh, now I know why I saved it. I'm not really even sure how you pronounce that. COLOSSIANS. Normally, when I'm reading the Bible, I stick with Psalm, and there's certain things that I stick with and certain things that I don't believe in, just because the research I've done. First of all, I've read a lot of holy books, and I'm currently still studying a lot of things, but from what I read as it relates to the Bible, there's a lot of things that were taken out, put in. So yeah, this is not a video about the Bible. I keep having to stop myself from going off subject, but yeah. I got something on here saying the difference between God's children and free spirits. I don't know what that's about. I guess it's talking about, okay, I guess we can talk about how Jesus said everything he did, you too shall do, and even greater things, and how that's a problem here on Slave Planet. Okay, so according to Jesus himself, not Christianity, because Jesus did not create that, and they leave out a lot of what he actually said. Okay, everything he did, you too shall do, and even greater things. Why is it that if followers of Jesus, like myself, or anybody, were able to were to come out in the open in front of people and do what he actually did, like lay hands and raise a person from the dead, or lay hands and heal somebody, or use their hands to turn water into wine, or walk on water, or anything Jesus did that he said we too shall do, why is it that we would be called demons? Why would people say we were working with demons, or that's witchcraft, or that's this or that's that, when we're literally just doing what that's that slave shit I be talking about, like. But anyway, oh yeah, with God's children, like, he's pretty much telling you that's things that God's children are supposed to be able to do. And to me, that's not this, being a child of God and being a free spirit are opposite things. That's why free spirits are often, like, they are not attacked. They normally don't have Judases around them, because as a free spirit, that's pretty much saying you're open to be used by any spirit. Like, the word spirit for me is connected to air, wind, the element of air and wind. So it's kind of like you blow with the wind. So you don't stand for anything. So you don't really have people trying to control you or put you in a box. You kind of just have spirits that use you until they don't want to or can't use you anymore, or use you all up. And it's like you're on a roller coaster ride to your own destruction, because you're just blown with the wind type shit. So for some reason I had it in here to something about God's children versus free spirits. Everybody who doesn't come against you don't mean they're for you. But I feel like I'm losing I'm losing track of what the whole video was for, really. Okay, I got gatekeeping versus protecting sacred knowledge to the public. Yeah, that's me talking about how certain things, how I didn't share that this was really part of the reason why I started this channel, and me feeling like this, or seeing all the signs of this. And I didn't say it yet on here, I don't think, because I tried to record this a couple days ago. So I'm not sure if I said it on here already. But if I am wrong, if this is not hell or purgatory or slave planet, I ask that God show me that this is not true. But as many times as I talked to God about this and, thought this, I feel like the breadcrumbs still lead me to the same thing that I'm saying. But yeah, I just wanted to make it clear that I'm not gatekeeping. It's some stuff that you cannot put out into the general public, because like I said, 2/3 of people is cool with this shit. 2/3 of people, any knowledge that they receive, they will try to use it for their own personal gain, regardless of who it destroys. So I feel like that's why a lot of stuff, sacred knowledge or occult knowledge, or people would say not sharing certain stuff with the public that they know is gatekeeping. It's not. Some stuff need to be protected. Like, even with me having to see that sharing certain stuff, like using tarot, like even tarot, I shared this though on the tarot evil video. Everything could be used for good or evil. It's about the person using it, not the tool, not the craft. Music can be used for good or bad. Tarot cards can be used for good or bad. Your voice can be used for good or bad. Your body can be used for good or bad. It's really about what you're doing with it. So some stuff should not just be put out there because it's too powerful for the general public to know. And it can be used in a destructive way against humanity. So everybody who is holding on to a lot of knowledge is not because they're gatekeeping and they don't care. It's because the general public, like most people, have not evolved enough to know a bunch of stuff. Like, they don't need to know a lot of stuff. because having an animalistic, like beastly type mindset that most people have, they're just going to use it in a detrimental way or in a selfish way, which is really detrimental, but okay. Like in the bigger picture. But my experience with devils in constant spiritual warfare, I think it's the last point, which I can't. Do I want to say my experience? I'm just gonna give like 10%, just like 3 to 7%. I don't know if I said it already, but it's just, I feel like for everybody it's constant trials, like constant battles, constant for everybody who's on a spiritual journey, or everybody who is not just constantly out just for what makes them feel good, look good, make other people think they're good. Those type of people is not no constant battle for, I don't think. So I'm just gonna speak for chosen ones, or the 1/3, or people who choose to follow Christ, choose to follow God. It's a constant battle. I can't tell y'all how many times I've seen a person switch from, like, their eyes switch from regular whatever their persona is to really not having no soul, really turning into another person, not having no conscience, not giving a fuck about consequences or none of that, like possession type shit. And like, I've had to literally fight for my life I don't know how many times, and I was born into a situation where, I mean, I don't want to say it, but I kind of want to say it because that's part of my generational curse of just like silence, just not saying certain shit. So my father was like a super pedophile. He pretty much was fucking with all the kids in the house. Blood father. So for me, I don't know how I didn't figure this out earlier. Still, all the first part of my life, up until like a year before I started this channel, still I always thought people have God in them. Like, everybody deep down inside wanted to be good. Everybody deep down, you just gotta dig deep enough, you just gotta love them enough, and you know, the good will show. But some people, no matter how much you do for them, love them, heal them, teach them, you know, spoon feed them, you know, whatever the fuck, it's still not nothing in there but, you know, their own selfish desires at any given moment, or them I'm just gonna leave it at that, because yeah, I don't really want to go into all my experiences with devils, but it is like constant spiritual warfare. But I'm able to like balance that out with just, like I said, riding the wave, my faith. And I'm gonna do a separate video talking about how I know for a fact God is real, even though it's a lot of reasons, but how I first realized God was real. And it's from an experience that I had with my mother when I was really young, and we saw an angel together, and I want to have her on the phone. Hopefully I can get her on the phone for that video. But yeah, I just wanted to make that clear. I'm not an atheist, even though this video is not really to explain myself. It's just to give a message that I was meant to give. Hopefully this reaches whoever it was for. The people who get it, was meant to get it, got it. The people who don't, won't, can't, not for you. Thanks for watching. Peace.